Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Today we're going to make this cute card which features the I Love Lace background stamp. Now this has got so much detail in it. It's my newest stamp and I wanted to use it with one of my stamps I've had around for a long time, which is Postage Due. And I do love the way that the Stampin' Up! Products work together so that things that you've had for quite a long time kind of come back into their own with a new toy. So I'm going to start off, my base card here is in the Crisp Cantaloupe, and that's half a sheet of A4 folded in half. And then I've got a layer of Whisper White, and this is 3.5 by 5.5 inches. To do the background stamp, I'm going to ink this up with the, not Calypso Coral, that's going on the top. We're going to use Blushing Bride. Now, if you have one of our old style ink pads, you want to swirl and then tap. But if you've got our new style ink pads, which have been around for a couple of years now, which is the firm foam, you just want to tap all over to make sure that that is inked up. And then the easiest way with these big background stamps is to lay my cardstock onto the stamp, get a piece of scrap paper and then rub over. And what I always say is keep one hand still while you press with the other hand, and then the still hand is stopping it from slipping and sliding. And when I lift that off, I'm going to get a perfect impression. And I don't know how well you can see. Let me put my overhead light on, see if that helps. I don't know whether you can see the detail that is in this stamp, but it is beautiful. The lace is absolutely beautiful. Now the next element, as I say, I'm bringing in Postage Due, and I'm going to use this piece here and a couple of the stamped images. So for that larger stamp, which I'll stick with my piece of scrap grid paper here, I'm using a piece that is 1 3/4 inches by 3.25 inches in Whisper White, and I'm going to ink this stamp up in the Calypso Coral. Now when I did this last time I thought it could have been just a smidgen paler, so I'm inking it in Calypso Coral, but then I am going to stamp off first and then stamp onto that piece of Whisper White. I like that better. Yeah, that's just a little bit more gentle. And then I'm going to also stamp my two little stamped images, which are this one here. So these are like little postage stamps, and I've got my postage stamp punch to punch those out with, and I'm doing those in soft suede. I'm also going to stamp a greeting while I'm at it with this ink pad out, and the greeting is Happy Birthday. This comes from Itty Bitty Banners. Just stamp that on there. Right, a little bit of cutting out, the easy cutting out, as I say, with the postage stamp punch. Love the way we have a punch for lots of things. We also have framelits for lots of things, including, actually, there are framelits for the bitty banners, and certainly the curvy ones, the framelits are way easier, but for the straight one I can manage to cut that fairly straight. Now all of those elements now, I'm going to take my sponge and my soft suede and just give those a little sponge around the edges. On the postage stamp it really makes those perforation pieces around the edge stand out a lot more, and certainly gives a little kind of vintage look going on to all of it. And I'll do every single element of this. With the sponge. People have said before how to the technique for sponging and daubing is you want to support your paper underneath, so that as you push the sponge, you've got something you're kind of pressing against. So just get your hand underneath and support it. It's easier than putting it down and doing it on the grid paper, and in my opinion it gives a better look, a better finish to it if you do it with it in your hand. And then I'm also going to take a piece of baked brown sugar cardstock. This is my layer for that image there, and this is 2 inches by 3.5 inches, and that is all daubed with the soft suede ink. Right, little bit of assembly required now. Right, so a little bit of Tombow on there. That's nice and straight. A little bit of Tombow on the back of the lace. And there is a way up for this. I noticed after I'd done one of the cards using this lace, there are stems pointing down, and I did one of them upside down. All that. Whoops! That's the camera moving. Can you still see okay? I will just stop and adjust that. Okay. And I'm going to wind a bit of twine around this. And this is the thick baker's twine in baked brown sugar and crystal cantaloupe. We're doing this in all of the 2013 to 2015 in colours. I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on there just to hold those in place. I'm going to bring them round like this and then cross them over on the front. You could also notch them at the front if you prefer, but I'm just going to stick them down there at the back. And the snail will do enough to kind of hold those in place. And then I'll give them some extra support by putting some of my dimensionals over them there as well. Try and catch them with an edge bit across there. These little backs of dimensionals, these are Stampers Confetti. You're just allowed to have those all over your house. Now the only other little bit I'm going to do is I'm going to put a layer onto my happy birthday here. So I'll just glue that on. Let that glue dry for just a second while I stick the next pieces on. And then I can cut round and do a little layer for that. Now with these I want them to overlap, so I'm going to put a piece of glue where they overlap, but I'm going to put a dimensional where they're going on to the base card, because obviously we're at a different height here, and that'll give them a bit more support. I want to keep that postmark showing, so yeah, I'll just do that. So a little bit of glue just along that piece there, and we can get that postmark still showing there. And for our final bit, I'm just going to trim that was a bit tight. I shall have to make that match now. That was a little smaller than I meant that to be, but only you know. We're not going to tell anyone else. I'll pretend that's just how I meant it. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. Let's see where we want this. Let's have it the right way up. I think I'm going to have this one right down at the bottom. Just like that. So that's us done. So when you get some new stamps, have a look and see the stamps that you've already got and see what's going to work well with them, because I bet like me you can find something that's just going to work beautifully together. I hope you've enjoyed your visit to Elizabeth's Craft Room today, and I look forward to welcoming you back soon.